Imagine this. You're standing in front of the woman of your dreams. The atmosphere is perfect. The conversation is flowing, and everything seems to be going your way. You can see it in her eyes. There's a spark of interest, curiosity, even admiration. But then, something happens. You don't even notice it at first, but suddenly her body language shifts. She becomes a bit distant. The spark, gone, just like that. What went wrong? Well, if you've been in a similar situation, you're not alone. Countless men experience this exact moment, a moment where things seem to be heading in the right direction, but suddenly, it all changes. What most men don't realize is that the reason they lose a woman's respect often boils down to one seemingly small thing they keep doing, or rather something they keep failing to do. Let's get straight to it. There's one rule, just one, that stands above all else when it comes to earning a woman's respect. It's not about being rich, it's not about having the perfect six-pack abs, and it's definitely not about using the right pickup line. Nope. The rule is this: consistency. Yes, you heard it right. Consistency is the key that unlocks respect. But here's the thing. When we talk about consistency, we're not just talking about showing up on time or keeping your promises, although, trust me, that's important too. We're talking about something much deeper, being consistent in your actions, your character, your principles, and your behavior. Sounds simple, right? Yet, for so many men, this is where they stumble. They think respect is something you can gain with grand gestures, flashy displays of affection, or by saying all the right things. Sure, those things might catch her attention in the moment, but they won't keep it. If you want to earn her respect, not just her admiration or interest, you have to be consistent. Why does consistency matter so much to women? Here's a little psychological insight. Women are wired to notice patterns. They're not just listening to the words you're saying, they're actively observing what you do, how you do it, and how often you do it. Every action you take, every promise you make and keep or break, every little behavior you exhibit is recorded and analyzed in her mind. It's not conscious most of the time, but it's there. Women are experts at picking up on inconsistencies because, in the back of their minds, they're asking themselves one crucial question: can I trust this man? Let's break it down with an example. Imagine this. You tell her you're going to meet her at 7 p.m. sharp for dinner. She's all dressed up, excited for a night out with you, but you show up at 7:30. No explanation, no apology. Sure, she might smile and brush it off, but in her mind, she's taking note. Then, another day, you tell her you'll call after work, but the phone never rings. Again, she might not say anything, but internally, the respect meter is starting to dip. You might think these are small, inconsequential things, but in her mind they're not. To her, these moments of inconsistency scream one thing: he's unreliable. And if she can't rely on you, how can she respect you? But wait, this goes beyond just being on time or keeping promises. This applies to every aspect of your life. Consistency isn't just about what time you show up for dates. It's about your values, your character, and how you handle life's curveballs. Women aren't just looking for a guy who can keep track of time. They want someone who is steadfast, who stays true to their word, and who doesn't flip-flop when the going gets tough. Consistency, stability. Let's get real for a moment. In the chaotic world we live in, consistency represents something women crave: stability. It's not about being boring or predictable. It's about being reliable, dependable, and most importantly, trustworthy. A woman can be deeply attracted to you, have a great time with you, and even think highly of you. But if she senses that you're inconsistent, that attraction and admiration will eventually fade. Without consistency, there's no foundation to build real respect. So, what does consistency actually look like? It's not about always being perfect, because let's face it, no one is. It's about being dependable over time. Respect isn't earned in a single grand moment. It's accumulated over days, weeks, and months through the small, everyday actions that show her who you really are. Consistency shows her that she doesn't have to worry about which version of you she'll get today. She knows what to expect because you're steady. And that steadiness? It's like a magnet. When you're consistent, you create emotional security. And where there's emotional security, respect will always follow. Now, you might be thinking, is consistency really that important? I mean, surely there are other factors at play. And yes, there are. But think about it this way. Without consistency, all those other things don't matter. You could be the funniest, most charming guy in the room, but if you're inconsistent, she won't respect you in the long term. Consistency is the glue that holds everything else together. Here's where things get even more interesting. Consistency isn't about perfection. No one expects you to be flawless. In fact, how you handle your flaws is a big part of being consistent. When you mess up, and you will, do you own up to it? Do you take responsibility? Or do you make excuses, brush it off, or pretend it didn't happen? How you handle failure is a direct reflection of your consistency. If you're the kind of guy who holds himself accountable when things go wrong, you're showing her that you're someone she can respect, even when you're not at your best. Consistency in taking ownership of your actions, in good times and bad, is where real respect is earned. Here's another little-known fact. Consistency doesn't mean never changing. Life changes, circumstances change, and yes, sometimes people change. But the key is this: your core values, the principles you live by, should remain consistent. The way you treat people, the way you approach challenges, and the way you conduct yourself should stay grounded in who you truly are. If you're constantly shifting your behavior based on who's around or what's happening, she'll see right through it. Women respect men who know who they are and aren't afraid to stick to their values, even when the world around them is pulling them in different directions. Think about it this way. Being consistent isn't about being rigid or inflexible. It's about being authentic and reliable. It's about being the same person whether you're at home, at work, with friends, or with her. It's about showing her that the man she sees today is the same man she'll see tomorrow and the next day. When you're consistent in your character, you eliminate doubt. She doesn't have to guess whether you'll change when things get tough or when you face temptation. She knows exactly who you are because you've shown her time and time again. Now let's talk about how to put this into action. How can you be more consistent in your everyday life? Because it's one thing to understand the importance of consistency. It's another to actually practice it. 1. Be consistent in communication. Women appreciate clear and consistent communication. Don't leave her guessing about your intentions or your feelings. If you're interested, show it consistently. This doesn't mean overloading her with messages or attention. It means being steady in how you communicate. Whether it's a text, a call, or a face-to-face conversation, make sure you're communicating consistently with honesty and clarity. 2. Be consistent in your actions. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you make a promise, keep it. This is where a lot of guys slip up. They make promises in the heat of the moment, but don't follow through. Every time you break a promise, even a small one, it chips away at her respect for you. Over time, these small inconsistencies add up. On the flip side, when you're consistent in your actions, you're building a solid foundation of trust. And once she trusts you, respect will naturally follow. 3. Be consistent in your values. Your values and principles should remain constant, no matter what. Whether you're dealing with her, your friends, or even strangers, Your character should be the same across the board. If she sees that you treat everyone with the same level of respect and integrity, her respect for you will grow. But if you're one person with her and a completely different person with others, she'll start to question who you really are. Fourth, handle setbacks with consistency. Life isn't always going to go your way. You're going to face setbacks, challenges, and failures. How you handle those moments says a lot about who you are. When things don't go as planned, do you stay true to your values, or do you let the situation change you? A man who remains consistent, even in the face of adversity, earns a level of respect that goes far beyond surface-level attraction. And here's the kicker: inconsistency breeds doubt. If she's always left wondering which version of you she'll get today, she'll never be able to fully respect you. But when you're consistent, when you show up the same way day after day, with integrity and authenticity, you build something that's far more valuable than attraction. You build respect. So if you want to earn her respect and keep it, remember this one golden rule: be consistent. In your actions, in your words, in your character. Be the man she can rely on. Because when you're consistent, you're not just earning her respect, you're laying the foundation for something far deeper and more meaningful.